Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the mid-afternoon, and today we're going to be talking about a fragrance from the house of Mont Blanc. And I feel like it definitely gets a lot of love, but it gets some hate. Some people don't like how harsh it is. Some people don't like certain notes in the fragrance. Some people just feel like there's better fragrances in its category, but I think it's a wonderful fragrance with a whole lot of versatility and uniqueness. And we're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. All right, boys and girls, welcome to the Scent Bubble. If you're new here, please like the video if it is valuable to you. And I'm a new channel, so I've only been around for like 45 days or something like that, but we have consistently posted one video and one YouTube short every single day, and I'm going to continue to do that for the next 100 days until we go through my 150 fragrance collection, and then we'll move on to a lot of the conceptuals, the top 10s, the top 5s, different fragrance battles and things that I have in the works. But I want everybody to have good information on the fragrances that I currently own if you are considering purchasing them for yourself. Now, the fragrance that we're talking about today is none other than Mont Blanc's Legend Spirit. I want to show you real quickly what the bottle looks like. It is the white bottle. I always tell people Mont Blanc Legend white bottle. That seems to help people really understand what we're talking about because there's so many different colors of bottle. We got red, black, white, and some other variations. Now, this fragrance to me is an all-around, almost any season, any reason type of scent because it's light, it's crisp, it is pungent, but not on the heavy beast mode side, but on the beast mode scale, I'd probably give it about a 6 or a 7. What we have on initial spray is we have fresh, we have somewhat spicy, we have somewhat aquatic and airy, we have citrus, we have sweetness. Almost seems somewhat powdery. To me, this is it borders between Freshly with Charm and slightly above Freshly with Charm because it's got signature to it, and it's got complexity in its layering. That's what really takes a Freshly with Charm out of the Freshly with Charm category to me is you have fresh, so you have clean linen, green, earthy, aquatic, stuff like that. And then when you tinge it with a particular note or a blend or give it a little bit of complexity off of the linearness of what direction you're going, that to me is Freshly with Charm. It's not only a fresh, versatile fragrance for being out of the shower, running errands, or doing casual stuff, but then it's also got some type of signature or uniqueness where you stand out a little bit more than the average guy who's just rocking some cool water. Or some Acqua di Gio or something like that. Even though Acqua di Gio for me sits between Freshly with Charm, slightly above it just due to the complexity of fragrance like Profumo as opposed to the OG. Now, this fragrance, again, I think is multi-occasional. I think it's ageless in a lot of ways, though due to its freshness, I feel like, this probably sits at a sweet spot between around teenager to 30-year-old-ish. That's like the sweet spot, give or take. And we're going to just kind of dive into the fragrance and the note breakdown real quick. But just initially, again, slightly powdery, like ultra aquatic, citrus, fresh, some unique sweetness in the realm of floral. And I even think it's got some spice. Some people, the citrus note here is more tart, sour, but it's fresh. So it's not tarty in an unpleasing way because it's got this air of freshness that rushes through it. But tart in the sense of we're not talking sweet citrus, we're not talking lemon, we're not talking lime, we're not talking grapefruit. We're talking like just the sour side of citrus, maybe in the grapefruit realm as far as to my nose, but just crisped out by this kind of aquatic lightness and then tinged with kind of this woody, spicy, powdery vibe. So let's go ahead and go to the note breakdown here. Okay, so it does have grapefruit, so that's good to know. So on the top, we have grapefruit, bergamot, and pink pepper. I always love when pink pepper is used as opposed to pepper because I think pink pepper has a way of being spicy, but light and uplifting spicy, whereas regular pepper to me seems a bit darker, a bit more manlier, harsher, etc. So in the mid heart, we have water notes, lavender, cardamom. I do get a tinge of lavender in the sense that it feels very kind of floral in the mid. And then in the base, we have white musk, white woods, cashmere wood, and oak moss. So a very woody, earthy bottom, a very floral aquatic mid, and a very citrus pepper top. And I get a lot of that. So if you're looking at this note breakdown, I would say this fragrance is very much grapefruit forward. Again, the tart side, almost riny, but not quite because it's so fresh that it doesn't have the density of the rind, but more so the tartness of the rind. But it's heavy on grapefruit, aquatic, woods, but but a nice hugging of this lavender cardamom vibe. It's not super spicy on the pink pepper. I would say it just kind of harshens the fragrance up a little bit. I think this is close to beast mode again. I think about 7 on the scale. And just know that when you put this fragrance on, I think where a lot of people mess up is first you have to determine, are you putting this on skin or on clothes? Because the longevity and projection and all that stuff is going to be greatly affected by that. Now, if you're wearing Dior Homme Intense, you can put that on clothes and stuff because it sits on clothes, it holds on clothes. But certain fragrances can be harsh or light depending on if you put it on skin versus clothes. And so I think with this fragrance, if you spray anything north of like 4 sprays, it's going to seem very harsh because of that tart grapefruit note and the spices. But I think the way you put on a fragrance like this is you can't go 4 or less for the day, but I think you go 4 sprays, front, back, initially, and then like maybe 2 hours in to the dry down, then you apply another 2 to 4 sprays depending on whether you're outdoors or indoors, and that'll lighten the fragrance. You will appreciate this fragrance a lot more after the opening because of the harshness that comes with the pepper and the tartness of the grapefruit and even the cardamom. But I think it's very versatile. It's got signature to it. It's virtually young kid to young adult, agelessness. It's got charm. Again, it's got, in terms of the freshy category, the usual suspects of citrus, aquatic. I think in the citrus aquatic category, the pink pepper, lavender, cardamom edge to it and the tinge of grapefruit move it into its own unique place. But it's such a fresh, airy aquatic that it really can be super multi-occasional. This can be kind of your Aqua di Gio OG grab where you can be out of the shower, it could be on a casual date, out for coffee, running errands, going to school, going to work. It's just remember when you're going to work, if you work indoors, you're going to want to go 4 or less sprays and then spruce up later if need be, because it does have a lot of projection. I would also say that when you're spraying a fragrance like this, don't put it down the middle because that tartness will kind of go right up into your nose and kind of bother you all day. You know what I'm saying? You need this fragrance to dry and settle down. So if I were you, I would go left, right on the neck and then left, left, right, or whatever, but keep the projection range out of this area right here because you're going to want some air to rush through that fragrance and you're going to want it to settle. Another way you can avoid this is by going direct to skin. So open your neckline up and actually hit the neck and let the shirt sit over it. So that way your shirt can kind of duff out some of the projection as well. Because when this fragrance really settles down, you get this clean linen tinge of grapefruit, watery, floral wood backbone. That's just really something spectacular. What does a fragrance like this cost? Let's hit up Amazon real quick. Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. And I think even guys like Jeremy Fragrance go into this a lot as just being an all-around banger. I find it to be more interesting than the black bottle Mont Blanc. I think the red bottle is interesting as well. I forget, but this to me is the clean citric aquatic masterpiece of the Mont Blanc series. Now, you can get Mont Blanc Legend Spirit 1.7 ounce for $72. I'm seeing the massive, you guys got to see this. The big bottle here is going for $84 for the 6.7. So I think that's like 200 ml or something like that. So extremely affordable. Again, I think when it comes to how tart this fragrance is, it would benefit you to go to a Sephora or a Macy's or somewhere and just put it on a test strip. But again, I really don't like judging this fragrance by the initial opening on test strip because it doesn't really tell the story. You might get too much tart harshness up front and go, nah, that's too harsh. It really needs to sit on skin. So if you're trying it out in stores, just give it one spray at distance so you can get to the dry down faster, and then give it a whiff. Again, I think some fragrances are just like that due to the notes. What people don't speak about in terms of harsh fragrance openings, a lot of times people refer to synthetics, which I think there's somewhat of that here. But what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes harshness is good because ultimately it leads to projection and longevity. If you can get past the harshness where it doesn't remain harsh, but it actually settles down, or you can duff it out with clothes or kind of distribute your sprays a little bit more effectively, as long as you get to the goal, that's what matters. And so I think for a fragrance like this, you spend $80, you're literally going to have a fragrance for like 10 years that's just grab and go wherever, any season, any reason. The only thing I wouldn't really rock this on is for my guys 40 and up. I feel like there's just, you have the money at that point and things like that, and there's just a lot more variety available. But I do think older men could definitely rock this. I wouldn't rock this in super serious occasions. But it's definitely a standout, almost clean linen, grapefruit, aquatic fragrance with a backbone of florals and woods. Do you guys have this fragrance at all? Do you disagree with me? I know the community isn't necessarily split. Most people love this fragrance, especially since the toting of Jeremy Fragrance, kind of bigging up this fragrance a lot. A lot of people do like it, but it's not a fragrance that I feel a lot of people have reviewed currently in the modern times. It's kind of just this old fragrance that people liked initially, and then they moved on to other fragrances. But I think if you're starting your collection, you need a fresh, bitter citric, tart aquatic in the composition. Gio Armani will last you a long way, but it's on the more sweeter side of it, more smooth. If you need something that just projects like a monster and kind of demands attention in its projection, something along the lines of this, or something vetiver based is going to be in your best interest. Encre Noir Sport is another one with a grapefruit tart tinge. Or you can go in the sweet citric category, but again, I think Gio Armani probably has the most versatility out of anything in that, lane. But yeah, it's just going to give you a profile that I feel, in terms of how they treated the citrus, that you're not going to quite get in much else. So definitely sample it. This fragrance, you don't have to buy a sample for. Any fragrance store you go into, they're going to have this fragrance. It's super commercial, super mass appealing, so you'll be able to put your nose on it. And if you wind up enjoying it, you now have a fragrance that for $80 will literally last you an entire lifetime. I mean, 6.7 is crazy. I think 3.4 is like 100 ml. So you're getting like over 200 ml for $80 is unheard of. It's absurd from a commercial house. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would speak on any alternatives to this, but nothing comes to mind. I think you need to actually go with the original here. And again, any season, any reason. Spring, summer, I think fall and winter as well. This could rock out. It's just so, I don't want to say inoffensive because it's very pungent, but it's light, airy, and crisp. It's heavy. It's on the light, airy, crisp side. It sits a little bit more beast mode than that, but I don't think that's a problem at all. I think you can subdue that with your application use here, and it's a great fragrance. So appreciate you guys for rocking with me in the scent bubble. Like the video if you found it to be useful. turn on your notifications, because every single morning around 6 to 8 a.m. Western, a video is in queue. I think I have like 14 videos in the queue already for the coming days. So you guys can reliably expect consistent daily content from me, and I appreciate you guys for joining. And if you do subscribe, say hello in the comments and introduce yourself. We have a small community right now, so it's very easy for all of us to kind of interact and just help each other along our fragrance journey. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. Have a blessed afternoon, and I will talk to you later.